if we could have, absolutely, if we could have Mayor Dixon come up for a second, as we're getting set up here. And if he can come up and talk about this event that's going to take place, or what is it, at the arena. Tom briefly mentioned it in his report, but I want to be able to let one of the chief organizers have an opportunity to tell about what it's all about.
Thank you very much. And I apologize for my dress this evening. I did not think it would come an opportunity to say anything. But as he mentioned, Trotwood, City, Dayton, Harrison Township, what's been happening throughout our community is really gun violence and violence in our community. And on this Wednesday at the arena, we're having a community conversation about how to make our cities safe. Oftentimes, there are so many voices that go unheard because we have events in the wrong location. So we're asking everyone to come out to the arena and share your concerns, share your thoughts in terms of how we can make our community safe. It's at the arena this Wednesday. It starts at 5:30, and we want everyone to have an opportunity to lift their voice. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor. I think we're almost ready here. And it's always nice to have, everybody got one? All right, oh, you take care of that already. All right. My man is always on the job. So it looks like we're going to have a good county slate here tonight. I guess we're going to give you all some talking points.
Thank you, Mr. President. If I can have the candidates to come forward, and I have you broken down by cities. Mayor needs 30 seconds. Yes, that's right. So Dayton, Trotwood, Harrison, Jefferson's at 8, Harrison,
Good job, man.
Trotwood, Dayton is at its first part. And the mayor wanted me to remind you, we're talking about the social club called the Arena, not Hero Arena. So it's an establishment on the state. You get it?
Thanks, Mr. Mayor.
Yes. And so here's how it's going to operate. We have candidates for Dayton City Commission, Trotwood Mayor, Trotwood City Commission, Harrison Township Commission, Fiscal Officer, Jefferson Township Commission, and Fiscal Officer. And I'll open it up with just a 1-minute question of each and every one of them. But if you have some questions, our Sergeant of Arms, and there are 2 or 3 of them, they don't have their yellow jackets on tonight, they have cards. We want you to put your questions on the cards. Put the questions on the cards. We want to thank the Black elected officials for being here this evening, and they're going to help put the questions into one big question as opposed to me asking you 5 or 6 of the same similar questions. So they'll be sitting over here. The Sergeant of Arms will be passing out the questions. Where's the other secretary? Will. Will. Okay. And a lost phone. Somebody left a lost phone in the back table? I'll leave with the Sergeant of Arms. If you're missing your phone, and my chair lady of get out the vote, Amanda Gary, will be the timer. You'll receive a 30-second, thank you, 30-second, and then red. I'll yank the mic out of your mouth, okay? Let's begin with a 1-minute question. Then I'll go down here and start with the trustees, candidates and trustees. What makes you the most qualified person for the position of trustee, mayor, councilwoman, and commission? What makes you? You sure can? Yeah. The question is, 1 minute. 1 minute. What makes you the most qualified candidate for the position you're running for? And in this, you can say who you are, okay? So people know who's here.
Good evening. I'm Ron Casey. I'm a trustee with Harrison Township. And first of all, before I start, I want to thank the NAACP for the invitation to this really important evening. So thank you very much. And I guess my second, is there anyone here from Harrison Township? Great, thank you. What makes me qualified? I have been a trustee for 3 terms in Harrison Township, running a government of $14 million for the past several years. I am retired from the Montgomery County Sheriff's Office with 33 years, and from the Harrison Township Fire Department for over 40 years. And I think what helps me there is we contract with the Sheriff's Office. Oh, I'm sorry.
Better go fly quick.
I'm done. I tried.
This is what we call the elevator speech.
Greetings, my name is Craig Anderson, and I am a 25-year-old from Harrison Township. I am running for your next Harrison Township trustee. What makes me qualified for this job is because I actually hold numerous positions at Mary Scott Nursing Home. I'm the Director of Activities and also the Co-Marketing Director. Part of being a Co-Marketing Director is building relationships with not only the community and neighborhood businesses. We have witnessed that a lot of things have happened in Harrison Township. One of the things that is major for me at Mary Scott is handling budget. Handling a budget of $5,000 or more a month and making sure that we are spending that for the quality of our residents. Also, when we talk about marketing Mary Scott, it's building that relationship with the community, because if we don't have that insight or if we don't have that connection, how can we bring people back? Working in Harrison Township,
Hello, my name is Jeanette Page, and right now I am presently on Trotwood City Council, but I am running for the mayor of Trotwood, so I want to get clarification on that. My qualifications are as follows. Right now, I have an existing position in the Trotwood community as a Trotwood City Council. Number 2, I have lived in that city for more than a year. You only have to be a resident for a year to run for any type of office in the city of Trotwood. And number 3, I have a vested interest. I own a home there. Not only that, I've been with the company for 38 years, and regular company, and I think that I can run the city of Trotwood effectively.
My name is Mary McDonald, and I am the proud mayor of the city of Trotwood, Ohio. I'm running for office to continue the work that I've begun. Many of you realize 4 years ago when I took office, it was expected that the city of Trotwood would be bankrupt and we would be completely closed down. That has definitely changed as we have repurposed, rebranded, and put our city on the map in terms of being a progressive, upwardly mobile city. So I'm running for office to continue the work that I have done, continue working with the individuals that wish to work with me, and all of the city of Trotwood, make it proud as it can be, because we are up and coming.
Hi, I'm Matt Joseph. I'm a candidate for City Commission. I'm a current City Commissioner for the City of Dayton. Why am I the right guy for the job? I started, my first job in politics was working as a legislative assistant for Congressman Hall. I loved it. I discovered my passion. Since then, I've been lucky enough to serve with wonderful people. I'm very proud of what we've done, the tough decisions that we've made over the years that have paved the way for our current beginnings of a recovery. I really want to stick around and be part of shaping what Dayton turns into, this new Dayton. There are a lot of little green shoots of hope that need tending. It's like a garden, and I want to be around to help make sure it grows and flourishes. I'm proud, like I said, to work with a great team. They're not afraid to make the tough decisions, and we will get there. Dayton will get better. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Chris Shaw, Dayton City Commissioner, and I'm running for re-election to the Dayton City Commission. I should be re-elected because of the work that I've done over the last 4 years. Very successfully negotiated Issue 9, increasing paved roads and park cuttings and trimmings. Preschool promise, where our 4-year-olds are getting the appropriate education at the right age. And many other workforce development opportunities. I brought together the first meeting of all of the labor unions that do work in the apprenticeship space, connecting them with Dayton Public Schools and many, many others, expanding, increasing the workforce pipeline. And that's what we meet around here, and I want to be there to see it through.
Good evening. My name is Shanice Turner-Sloss, and I'm a candidate for Dayton City Commission. I am the most qualified candidate for a number of reasons, but I'll give you a couple. The first is, although the incumbents have the title, I have the experience. I've done the work. I have the ability to dissect the information where I don't need to rely on the city manager. I have a working relationship, even though I'm no longer with the city of Dayton as a former city employee. Again, I understand the inner workings of government. I am an employee with Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, so I know the inner workings of government. And I really want to work for the city of Dayton residents. I live in the community. I believe in this community. We need clear processes, transparency, and accountability. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is David Esrati. I'm running for Dayton City Commission. And really, I just want to be like Mayor McDonald for Dayton, because we haven't had that in the city of Dayton. We have people that get up there and tell you every year they're going to move Dayton forward, over and over. They're endorsed by people and everything else. Their idea of moving Dayton forward seems to be that it's a pay-to-play system where their friends and family keep getting reelected, and they make sure that they get things like a patio built for themselves. I am not politically correct. I come to meetings with my video camera and I record them. I try to make things open and accessible to everybody. I fight lawsuits to make sure the sunshine laws are followed, and we need that. Commissioner Shaw thinks there's a problem with Darrell Fairchild talking. You can talk all you want at a commission meeting. Try it sometime, because these two sit there. I've got mannequins that talk more at a meeting than them. Thank you.
Thank you, candidates. Often in our meetings, we talk about the lack of employment up and down Gettysburg. And I think the president earlier talked about progress. And Trotwood just lost a major food provider. Our community is becoming more and more desert. What do you think your role as a council person, mayor, commissioner, and trustees to attract food to our communities? Do you understand the question? Okay. How long? 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
2 minutes.
Okay, we've tried all kinds of things to attract food. We paid for a Kroger on Gettysburg. We spent $5 million plus in a few years trying to gather property for a Kroger on Wayne. Same person is pretty much behind it. Now that person's our city manager. Not the right person, not the right solution. Look, if Kroger wants to put a store in, they can do it, and they can pay for it by themselves. They do it all the time. Why they expect the poorest people in the community to pay for subsidizing their stores is because that's the way things work in Dayton. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you we can make a grocery store happen automatically, but I can tell you we spend a lot of money on stupid programs that haven't worked. And we've lied to you about what we can do with the West Dayton Fund. I made a proposal yesterday on my website that I think will transform things, that will put money into the hands of the people that need it the most and make it easier to get to a grocery store that's a quality grocery store. And that solution is simple. We pay a sales tax in this community to fund the RTA. We already pay for RTA, folks. It's federal dollars, it's our tax dollars. Why do we still charge people to get on the bus? Now, you say that sounds crazy, and all of it. They only get about 10 to 15% of their money phone fares. And when you equate in all the overhead it takes to collect that little bit of money, including the gas spent while they idle, while they wait for people to pay the fare, you come back, it's probably a wash. We also stopped putting advertising in the buses. So we could pay for buses. Everybody get on the bus for free. Now, I'm crazy, right? Where do they have a free bus in Dayton? Downtown, where white people live. They have the white flyer. I call it like I see it, folks. We got a bus, a free bus for the rich people, and the poor people gotta pay. That's gotta stop. I plan on doing that. I'll make it easier to get to the grocery store. Thank you.
So last week we celebrated the groundbreaking of Gym City Market. How many of you were there? Exactly. We're all excited about that initiative. I am very proud of our community for taking a stand and looking at something creative and innovative. But that's not enough. Now we know that Gym City Market will be up, brick and mortar will be standing in a year from now. But how do we address the issues of food, desert, and food insecurity in our community today? I'll tell you how. Simple things that we can be doing. We can invest in our local grocery stores right here on Hoover Avenue, Estridge Market, a grocery store that I used to patronize as a child and still to this day. We can do things as far as making sure that we are investing in food trucks for fresh produce. This is a way for us to also stimulate entrepreneurship. There are things that we could be doing in the community, and it takes new leadership. But I'm going to tell you something else that we need to do. I don't know if everyone received a copy of this article. How many of you did? If you didn't, please raise your hand. We'll be happy to get one for you. We have to make our neighborhoods and the people in this community a priority. That's how we attract economic development. That's how we attract stabilized neighborhoods. We have to make people. People consist of our neighborhoods. Our neighborhoods consist of the people. We have to make it work together and do a better job at that. That means that we have to put the funding behind it, creative ideas that which have been proposed, and that my organization, Neighborhoods Over Politics, and that I have proposed that the city of Dayton do. We can do it if we work together. But guess what you gotta do? You gotta vote differently. Thank you.
Thank you for the question. A very important question about food insecurity in our city. That seems to be the worst, especially after the tornado took out the grocery lane over there in Baltimore and Dayton. So it's a huge issue. We've been working to solve it. Trying to attract another business, another grocery store to the West County. Having meaningful conversations with the ownership there. But it's about providing an attractive opportunity for a business or grocery store to come into the community. We all know that they look at the net income of the people in the neighborhood. We also know that they track your spend. When you're willing to go 18 miles away to shop. They know that. So we have to do a better job amongst ourselves of supporting the neighborhood grocery stores that are in our community already. I know that oftentimes they may not have the quality food and produce that we want, but it's about having a conversation with the owners of those markets to demand better. I'm a business owner myself, I understand how that works, and it's about continuing to do that kind of work. My opponent talked about Gem City Market, which we just did great ground on. How many of you are owners in Gem City Market? Very important to do so. A co-op opportunity there here in West Dayton to support them in their activities. In the city of Dayton, the city commission has been doing that work since the very beginning. When the first conversation started happening about Gem City Market, we were right there being very supportive. I'm going to continue doing that work with the city commissioner. We want to provide the opportunity for others to come into the community, but that means bringing high-paying jobs to our community so that net income rises, and that a Kroger, maybe even a Kroger marketplace, will be attracted to West Dayton and other parts, disinvested parts of our community.
Commissioner Shaw made my job easy. I've been working with him on many of those same initiatives, and I'm proud to support them. I will say, though, that one key thing that whenever we bring up the subject of food deserts that we have to keep in front of us is the fact that this problem exists because people aren't paid fairly for a full day's work. If people were paid fairly for a full day's work, then grocery stores wouldn't have their measurements. They measure how many people make how much money in a certain radius around the store. That would be fine. We'd have grocery stores. But the skewed distribution of wealth has shown itself here. So that's the base problem. I'm proud to support Gem City Market. We at the city have worked hard with Ohio State Co-op and a lot of other folks to make sure that people know how to grow their own vegetables and fruits. We supported neighborhood gardens, provided a free pump installation and water so they can water them. We've gone to almost every big and small chain that has groceries all around the state. We've discussed the possibilities with them, and it's been beating our heads against the wall because they have their firm measurements about wealth and traffic and that sort of thing. It just hasn't worked. So we're looking forward to Gem City Market coming in. In the meantime, we're going to continue these other efforts to try to get fresh fruits and vegetables and decent food on people's plates. We also have an initiative that's working with individual corner stores and other folks to put another freezer in, to bring in some fresh fruit, especially locally grown fruit, to help not only the folks that are eating it, but also the folks that are providing it to survive. So we're going to keep doing what we can to fill in until the prosperity hits, or until Gem City Market comes next year and we finally have a grocery. Thank you, it's a good question.
Great, thank you so much for the question. The city of Trotwood is already engaged in conversations with GFS. We've been talking to them for a number of months now about how we can possibly look at them as a local, already committed to the community institution that we might use to meet our needs. And I'll tell you what they're doing right now. If you were to go into that store now, you would see smaller portion sizes for citizens. You will see that they're already engaged in helping us to meet the need that we are. But further, the problem that I see is that there should be no food deserts. Everyone has a right to food, and everyone deserves good, healthy food in their community. It's not a luxury, it's not something for the rich. When I go south of town and I see 5 different grocery stores on one strip, I wonder, what is that all about? But what I've done is I've engaged our local legislators as well as our federal legislators in a conversation that they look at food differently. Look at food as the first line of health care. If you would change and have healthy food in the community, you would have healthy people. I can get every Taco Bell, McDonald's, Burger King, I can get all that kind of stuff that it ultimately would lead our people into bad health, ultimately to DeVita's and places like that at the end of life. But I can't get a grocery store. So I'm thinking if these legislators look at incentivizing the opportunity to have a grocery store get money from state and federal dollars, it can make a huge difference in grocery stores that say that their profit margin is 1% and that they need the help in being in a neighborhood like ours. So those are some of the things that I am currently doing. And I tell you, the thing of it is when our citizens look at things and they look at them in a different way, they recognize that there are also things that say that we're not looked at fairly, or we're not looked at equally in our communities. And those are things that need to be addressed. And I think that those are things that ultimately down the line are going to help us get to healthy food and healthy initiatives in each one of our communities.
Let's keep it simple. Food is a basic necessity no matter where you are. I don't care if you're in Dayton, if you're in Atlanta, or if you're in Chicago. What we need to do in Trotwood is stand on the ground of what we are. We're the only Trotwood in the city or in the world. Google it, you'll find it there. What we have to do, Kroger wasn't always big. Meyer wasn't always big. None of those big food chains like Whole Foods was always big. They started out as entrepreneurs. So what we need to do is let them know that the city of Trotwood has opportunities there that are unbelievable and available. We have 2 locations now. The Old Cup Food is no longer open, and now we have a Trotwood Food Town building that is available too. So what we need to do is solicit those young people that are trying to start out in a new business, and then they should plant their feet in Trotwood because we're up and going and we're moving forward. We had a hit earlier this year, but let's forget about all of that. Let's get the basic needs of everybody in the community. Everybody likes to eat, but we like to eat well. We have a median income of $32,000. That's not going to get you your Whole Foods because that average is $100,000 average median income. Let's reach out to those people and those individuals that would want to start off like that Kroger did, and like that Meyer, and like that Walmart did, and they can do that in Trotwood. We have the acreage and we have the area that they can start in. Make it simple. When it's simple, it's easy to control and to do.
I'm so happy and honored that that question came up. As an oldest of 5 in a single parent home, food is important. One of the basic necessities, as the candidate said, one of the things that my mom always worried about was having food on the table for when her kids came home from school. Harrison Township is fortunate to have Save-A-Lot and 2 neighborhood Krogers off Needmore and Siebenthaler. I commend the work of the NAACP of letting Krogers and Siebenthaler know we appreciate your business, but at least make our Kroger look a place that we want to go. If you look on social media, you hear, no, I don't want to go to Kroger's in Siebenthaler. I'd rather go to Kroger's in Inglewood. It's better quality food. No, we have to re-educate our people and let them know that we have the same quality of food right here in our neighborhood. We have to invest into our mom and pop businesses so we won't have the worrying about our food shortage or the food desert. If we are building the relationship with the Kroger company, keeping that open dialogue and letting them know the needs of our community, we can better serve the Harrison Township community. Definitely the little stores on Dixie and Needmore. Food is a major priority in our community. So keeping that open dialogue, that conversation going, saying, hey, we need you here, but these are some of the things that we would like to be changed to make the experience okay for our Harrison Township residents.
In Harrison Township, we do have 2 Kroger stores. I know I'm repeating this a little bit, but we have 2 Kroger stores, one on the west side at Siebenthaler, and the other Kroger store, Needmore and North Dixie. At Northtown, which is just down from Forest Park, we have a Save-A-Lot. We were aware, and we did talk with the Kroger store on Siebenthaler about them doing the $2 million renovation. We thought this was great. So I'm sure, as somebody else said, if you go into there now, you'll see that they are working on that now. Our understanding is the other Kroger store will also be doing that at a later date. One of the things that we did as trustees is Save-A-Lot wanted to have a liquor permit, and we said no. We just came to the point that we don't need any more liquor permits in the township, so we denied their request to have a liquor permit at the Save-A-Lot in Northtown. We thought for the good of the residents, we just didn't need that. But the two Kroger stores are coming along great. We've had some very minor complaints. One was the labeling of canned goods. They felt there were too many Kroger labels and not enough other types of foods. So that was one complaint, and really the only complaint we had at the Kroger's. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, let's go to the trustees for a moment here. What big vision do you subscribe for your township, and how do you plan to implement it? In other words, what is your vision for the township, and how do you plan on implementing it? And if so, what are you going to get the citizens of Harrison involved? So, what is your big vision? How are you going to implement it, and how are you going to get people involved in that vision?
Well, right now, I'm sorry. Right now, I guess my thing is I want economic development. With economic development in the Harrison Township area, that is going to help our tax base. By helping the tax base, bringing more funds into the township, we would hope to lower our levies. With a bigger tax base, we can lower the levies for our services, fire, police, general maintenance. The other thing is, with a good tax base, we will bring in residents. We want as many new residents, obviously, as we can get, and we also want to keep the residents that we have. We have gotten off to a good start. We have on the North Dixie, on the east side, a $8 million restaurant depot that was just about built until the tornado hit. But they are going to rebuild. Next to that, we had a large hotel, and they are going to rebuild. Right now, off of North Main Street, we have Forest Park. We're working hard to get that moving. As you know or may not know, that is privately owned. Being privately owned, we just try to work with the owner who lives in Cleveland. So it makes it very difficult to get him moving and trying to help and getting, some good stores or what have you into that area. But we are working on it. We thought we had a good plan, and it kind of fell through. The owner just didn't want to go that route. So those are our two there as far as economic development. Thank you very much.
My big vision for Harrison Township is a community for my brothers and sisters, your brothers and sisters, family and friends can live and be safe at the same time. Now, as we experienced the 2019 Memorial Day tornado, that was the opportunity for Harrison Township to seal the deal and to let our residents know, hey, we understand that you are going through a rough patch, but we want to help you. We want to help you find contractors to be able to rebuild your house. We want to move you over to this apartment complex. As a person who was affected by that tornado and did not see the support from the trustees that I thought that was there, and having to look and look and look for a place to stay, I don't think that was the okay thing for me. One of the main visions, I want to see a drug-free, safe environment. I don't think that our community understands that we are going through a rough time with the opiate epidemic. We do not some people do not know how to combat that. Some people don't know how to deal with that. So we open the dialogue with our community and say, hey, let's sit down and let's talk about this. Is your family affected by this? Maybe. How can you bring your family onto that recovery? Vision. When you hear a vision, you hear community centers for our kids. They don't have to go all the way into Dayton. They don't have to go all the way into Trotwood. We love our neighbor communities. But we want to see that here in Harrison Township. And if we don't have the vision for our kids, Harrison Township will soon die out. We can talk about economic development, but if we're not supporting our stores that we have in place already, if we're not helping them rebuild or to get back onto recovery beyond,
So let me ask the Dayton Commission candidates to be thinking while I ask the Trotwood candidates. A lot of questions on you dissolve the priority boards. Neighborhood involvement, what's going on, is defunded. So how do you plan on getting neighborhoods more involved in your decision-making process? You've done a good job in downtown Dayton, but a questionable job in the community. So really the questions are asking, you dissolve one of the best forms of community and neighborhood involvement, the priority boards, defunding them. You've done a good job downtown. When are you going to pay attention to the neighborhoods? So I'm asking the incumbents, but also I want to ask the challengers. You know, it's easy to talk about what someone else is not doing, but what would you do differently, okay? Mayors, candidates, and mayor, both of you have served in the council or in the mayor's position for 4 years. What is your vision for Trotwood? 4 years. Yeah. What is you've served in these positions for at least 4 years as a councilwoman and as mayor. Yeah. Right. 2 years, okay. What's your vision for Trotwood, and how would you get the communities to work with you in implementing that vision for Trotwood? Council? Go first. Okay, you got it. What's your vision for Trotwood, and how will you implement it? How are you going to do it? Get citizens involved in that.
First of all, we are already involved with our citizens, number one, because we do have neighborhood watch meetings that I do attend to make sure that people actually have an input in what's being said and what's being done. That's actively going on now. We have them once a month. We get a list of all the neighborhood watch meetings. So we go there and we talk and we get the input. The number one thing I wish we could implement, which is major for Trotwood natives, communications. And we need to have somewhere of streaming where everybody has access, not just to a few, but everybody has access to the information. We receive a quarterly bill every quarter for our water bill that's given to us once a quarter. But what happens in those 2 months that you don't receive a water bill? And you're just getting that information once a quarter. So one of the other things I would say that we need to improve on is getting more communications from the office to the people. Another thing too, I think right now with what we've been through in the past year, as far as a hotline needs to be formed where we can call in, and it's men, of people that need help. Not only just help, but they may need someone just to talk to. Being a survivor of the tornado myself, that's going to be very important for moving forward. If people are allowed to express how they feel and what they need and what they want, and not be afraid to do that, that would be very advantageous. So, communication, more literature, more importantly, streaming live, so the citizens can have a feedback and that they can also give feedback to us in office.
Thank you so much for the question. You know, most people don't have an idea of what the job the mayor has. The mayor's job is the vision of the city. And communicating that vision to our citizens is primal in the city of Trotwood. Each and every day, we work to make sure information is communicated. We make sure that our social media is up to date. People have an open door policy. They can come to the city of Trotwood and they can speak to us individually as to their concerns that they have. But the vision I have for the city of Trotwood has to do with we're better than what we were. Many, many years ago, we lost our way when we were identified as the community where the first mall was. And 5 years ago, as I planned my platform for running for office, I knew that I needed to help us to identify ourselves as something different. And that difference is a community that's proud of itself, a community that took a lot of hits, but a community that's coming back and is coming back strong. We're coming back strong simply because we in the leadership recognize it is our job to lead our community with the information that we get from our citizens. It is not our staff's job. And very often, communities depend on the staff. I know in the previous leadership, the strong dependence was on the city manager. Right now, the strong leadership is dependent upon the mayor and the city council and the citizens' input. We continue with that each and every day, and that helps us to craft what it is the leadership needs. We're currently working on our strategic plan now. There are a number of meetings throughout the city of Trotwood, speaking to every demographic of the city of Trotwood as to what they feel the vision and what they'd like to see happen within our city. But I will tell you, our city is so much different than it was 4 years ago. We've repurposed almost every big box that we had in our city that was empty. We've brought in new businesses. We have Stratacash, there's a $1 billion international company at a former GM plant that was closed for 10 years. We have continued to do, thank you so much.
And so the question again to the City of Dayton Commission candidates, we've done away with the priority points, which was a good vehicle for neighborhood involvement. And how do you anticipate, how do you expect to get that citizen involvement back to? Many of us look at the priority boards as a major golden jewel for the city. So how do we bring that citizen participation all over the city is feeling that pain? So talk to me a little bit about that.
Thank you, Senator. It's a good question. I was proud to serve a few terms on the priority boards. I love them. And if the prosperity that we had, we put them forth first in the early 70s, ever comes back, I hope to be part of the commission that puts them back in place. But right now, we're still looking at some of the same problems that led us to dissolve it. A few years ago, after the Great Recession hit, we cut everything we could that wasn't absolutely core. And the truth was that priority boards, although I love them and they're a great vehicle for folks to get the priorities in neighborhoods up and filtered up to the organization, we had a duplicate organization with neighborhood organizations and neighborhood presidents. So we made the very painful decision to go that route because it was cheaper, because it was duplicated. It wasn't great. It was one of many painful decisions that my colleagues and I had to make. Like I said, I hope someday we can get them back. But I will say that the plan has been, ever since it became clear that retail was not coming back to the city, that jobs were going to flow back by themselves, the plan became housing. And once that happened, the plan was to build up downtown, build up jobs where we could, take that revenue and put that in the neighborhoods. And that's what we're doing now. You saw that we were able to start up curbside leaf pickup. Those of you with big trees like I do, you appreciate that, I know. I'm really so we're able to do that, and that's just the beginning. As things continue to improve and jobs come and people move back in, we're going to be able to put more money back into neighborhoods. I will caution you, if somebody tells you we need to put more money in the neighborhoods, make sure you ask where it's going to come from, because most of the time they don't have an answer. Ask them what their plan is, because our plan has been clear for these few years, and we're going to carry it out and keep doing it until the neighborhoods are back where they should be. So thank you very much.
Yes, thank you for the question, Senator. It's a very good one. You know, I also was part of the priority board system many, many years ago, and I thought it was a really, really good vehicle. I was a little confused why that went away, but I do understand now. Priority boards really are a great vehicle for elected officials, for city commissioners, because it's a way for us to get our message out. Oftentimes we're, accused of things that we're not doing this, we're not doing that, and actually we were. Then the retort back is, well, why don't you tell us? Why don't you communicate with us? We're trying to do a better job of that, but I do recognize that as a problem. And again, priority boards were a really good mechanism to getting that word out. Also, there are neighborhood associations, some stronger than others. And especially in West Dayton, the neighborhood associations are not as strong as many others, and there was this reliance on priority boards. But what we're trying to do is build capacity in those neighborhood associations. I oftentimes say, many of you may have heard me say, a neighborhood is only as strong as the neighborhood association. And we are taking active, meaningful steps to develop programming to strengthen neighborhood associations, really relying on the best practices of other very strong neighborhood associations. And there are some in West Dayton, Caroline and Edgemont are doing some magnificent things. The capacity that they have should be duplicated and spread out and shared with other neighborhood associations. And I make that statement often. It's just so very important because I agree. Neighborhood associations are the way for the future. What we do as commissioners are to sit there and to promote these neighborhood associations and give them the tools that they need to be successful, and we need to build their capacity to do so.
Thank you for that question. So that is a very important question to pose this evening for a number of reasons. As stated, I'm a former City of Dayton employee. I started with the priority boards. I was a community service advisor. And in that position, I learned about the Model Cities program, the 40-year-old model that we had in place that was used as a means for a citizen to participate in their government. Now I'm going to share with you, I'm going to be very transparent and candid at the same time. This administration don't want you to be involved, period. And I'm going to give you a number of reasons of why this is true. Before I resigned from the City of Dayton, I gave countless recommendations on how we can focus on our neighborhoods. I even gave recommendations on how we can best utilize our community development block grant dollars, our federal dollars that we have coming into our community. Fell on deaf ears. So in 2015, when I resigned, I started a nonprofit, Neighborhoods Over Politics, with Joel Thomas Jones and Jamaica Garrison. We went back to the City of Dayton with a number of recommendations. Here are some recommendations on how we can best utilize our dollars, and I'm happy to see that the city has now adopted one of our recommendations, and that was leaf pickup, right? The other part of that is this. We've made all these different recommendations and reached out to the City of Dayton to be involved in the process. Again, our organization, not only our organization, me in particular, we were demonized, we were ostracized, we were criticized for being three articulate Black women who care about their community. They told us we didn't know what we were talking about. They told me that I was disgruntled, that I don't believe in police and fire, that I voted against issue 9. I live in this community. I am passionate about this community, and I believe in this community. And that's why, as your next City of Dayton Commissioner, I will make sure to work for your interests.
I'm David Israeli, and if there's one thing people know, I don't lie to you. So there's some things that you've heard tonight that just blow my mind. Number one, government is not here to tell a business how to be run. That's not the government's job. Number two, you don't think people in Oakwood have to have a priority board and a neighborhood association and go to all these meetings and do all this work? No, you don't. It's a farce that they expect you to do what they don't do. And you know why they don't do it? because we don't pay for them. We don't buy these politicians. We don't own landfills, we don't own a hospital, we don't own a university, we are not care source. We don't matter. That's where the money comes from. That's who they work for. Priority boards, when they were working, created more patronage jobs. That's the only kind of jobs these politicians know how to make, is patronage jobs, to take care of their friends and family. It's how somebody gets their brother, who's a convicted rapist, a job at the Board of Elections, and nobody bats an eye. Okay? This shit's gotta stop. Okay? So, I bought a house in South Park for $14,500. They hounded me, they hassled me. That's what got me started in politics. You wanna know something funny? I actually work in a grocery store. My old corner grocery store is now my office. And I create jobs. And I rehab and I've helped my neighborhood grow. And my neighborhood has been successful. And it hasn't been with any help from these people. So you wanna know what the real problem is? We don't have any police anymore. You know why? Because Miami Valley Hospital has their own private police force. They don't need to pay money to the city. UD has their own private police force. Sinclair has their own private police force. How many private police forces do we need? Why do only rich people have police? This has to stop. And if I get elected, this kind of crap will stop right then and there. We'll get things fixed. Because one of the reasons you don't see businesses investing is because they don't feel like their business is going to be protected. I'll protect you. Thank you.
Presidential privilege.
Let's have a question for the township trustees. And I guess really could go to anybody, because we're talking about township trustees, and this is where I have them at. The Krogers. Here's two different times that the NAACP has met with Kroger regarding improvements at their store. And so we had an opportunity now to spend close to $1 million in NAACP, close to $1 million to met with them. So I guess what I want to know, it really could go to any jurisdiction. Do you feel that was the NAACP's job to go in and negotiate? Or do you feel it was city leadership to go down and negotiate in terms of trustee or mayor or city official? Or do you think that it was economic development departments of the cities, townships, and so on and so forth? So that's what I mean. Was it our job to go in and negotiate and have us spend $500,000 versus the township that it resides in?
Do I think that that was the job of the NAACP? No, I do not think that was the job. But I congratulate and I thank the NAACP for heading on that initiative. I think it's the job of the township trustee. But when you don't have an open relationship with your community, when you're not shopping at the place I shop, you're not noticing the things that you should be noticing, like the upkeep of the land, the paved roads, how's the food quality in our store. You have to invest your time in our community to know exactly what's going on. So if you elect me as your Harrison Township trustee, that's all you will see me doing is open dialogue with our community, talking, where do we need to improve? Opening up the room, the table. You can sit at my table if you got a solution to improve the quality of the quality of the citizens of Harrison Township. So no, I don't think that was the job of the NAACP. I think that was the job of the elected officials who Harrison Township put forth and get paid for through taxpayers' money. So, thank you.
If I may, I couldn't hear exactly what you were saying. I didn't catch the last part. And I'm sorry, I just didn't.
I said, was it the job of the NAACP to negotiate close to $500,000 for improvements from City Hall? Or could it have been done, council leadership, for the trustees and council, or the
Personally, I think it could have been all three. Okay? Us alone are not going to persuade a Kroger store to do something. We may have a little input, but when we bring you on, we're there, and citizens who live in the community with us makes a big difference. I started the Neighborhood Watch program, our neighborhood groups, years ago in 1985. We've grown to 15 now. And let me tell you, when they have a complaint, we've been very lucky, we all work together, but when they do have a complaint, we listen because they speak for the community. It's no different than Good Sam Hospital. You know, we lost on Good Sam Hospital also. I'm sure we had people who work there who are going to have to move on now. I'm sure we had people who wanted to go work there, or maybe they just wanted to move to our community because they were within 100 yards of a hospital. So we did lose residents there. So, you know, it takes all of us, not just a group of trustees, not just the NAACP, not just our neighborhood group. If we don't work together and try to do something, then we're not going to succeed. It takes us all. Thank you.
I want to stand about 8 o'clock, but let me ask any one of you, do you want to address the question the President Forward has asked? It's been an ongoing question that he's often brought before the membership, and that is, whose job is it to bring businesses into the cities, to townships? Is it the trustee? Is it the city manager? Is it a combination? So if everybody wants to address that, because that's an ongoing question. I'll start with the mayor. All right, we'll go down. Let's do a 1 minute. We do 1 minute? Okay. Oh, let's go. Okay. Oh, anybody who wants to give everybody a shot. All right. Go ahead.
It is the job of all of us. But primarily, the city hires an economic development department, and that is what they do. When you look at the city, and you look at how its leadership is devised, it calls for special privilege that economic development does for our community. They have the ability to negotiate, they have the ability to bring back to city council the incentives to be able to make things happen, and that's how that particular thing happens within a community. But I will say, regarding the Krogers, it is all of our responsibility. I have a business right next door to that Kroger's over there, and very often, many of you have seen me on social media where I talk about what's going on in there, and I had many, many meetings with the management over there as well. One of the things that came out of one of those meetings was a forum that I held at St. Margaret's Episcopal Church, standing room only, where I had the mayor, had the manager of that store come in, and he talked about how much money it costs for each employee that comes there. And I'm going to tell you, if I may, I'm going to tell you about $2,000 goes into each employee that they bring in from the time they do a drug test and all of the things that are necessary to get that person into that job. And that person may leave for 50 cents more to go someplace else. So there are a lot of challenges in those stores, but it does. It takes each and every one of us having a part in the economic development in any community.
You have to know the structure of how our city is made. Number one, the mayor position in Trotwood is a ceremonial position. You have to define that. We have a city manager, we have a deputy city manager, we have treasurer, we have finance people. Now what we should do, and what has been done, and what will be done, if I'm elected, is that all of those parts have to come together to make it whole. If everybody works and does their job the way it's supposed to be done, then you don't have the NAACP stepping in to do it. You have everybody that's been hired and being paid for the position to fulfill the position they've been paid for. And that's what has to be done. Now, at the end of all of that, the city council and the mayor would need to vote to make sure that we respect what the citizens also want. And that is implemented. That's what we do. We vote to make sure that we give the city back to the constituents, because that's who put us in that office.
gentleman over here speak, I gotta let everyone speak, and I want to end on time. So I would like to, a lot of questions, candidates, dealing with redlining, economic development. Have you currently, city commissioners, lived up to the citizens voting on issue 9? Have you done the implementation for hiring more police, EMS, roads, those kinds of things? A lot of questions on economic development. Redlining is a big issue for a lot of communities. So just want to share that with you as you marinate on your campaigns and your elections, what the citizens are thinking. I want to give you all an elevator speech, let's say a minute and a half, to say whatever you want as we wrap up. So you have a minute and a half to give your best speech for the citizens. And start with Harrison Township Trustees.
Thank you very much, sir. Again, I'm Ron Casey. I'm a township trustee with Harrison Township. I guess I can say that I have lived in Harrison Township my entire life, worked in Harrison Township, raised my family in Harrison Township. I have worked with the government for over 55 years, either volunteering or working either on the fire department, sheriff's office, trustee, so on and so forth. One of the things that I guess I'm most proud of is I started the first Neighborhood Watch program in Harrison Township. That was in 1985, and it has grown. We are now at 15 active groups throughout the township. We have probably about 7 or 8 inactive, but if something arises, they come forward. So that's a good thing. The other thing, I'm going to have to second, economic development. We always try to bring in economic development. Economic development helps your neighborhoods. You have good neighborhoods, good economic development, you're going to have good schools. People want to come to your area based on economic development, schools. So we try to put all those together. Thank you very much for having me here tonight.
In order to restore and rebuild our community, we need leadership that is accessible to the families that were affected by the tornado. Number 1, we have to change the narrative of Harrison Township. When we watch the Channel 2 News or Channel 7 News, there's something negative always coming out for Harrison Township. How can we talk about economic development and how can we talk about bringing jobs if we're not changing the narrative as people or as elected officials to say, this is what Harrison Township offers. Come to our community because we offer some of the best parts in our community. Come because we have the land. We are now at September, and the cleanup for after the Memorial Day tornado seems like the tornado just hit yesterday. That's bad. What are we doing? Why are we not having that open dialogue with our government officials, demanding them to bring the resources here? If you elect me as your Harrison Township trustee, there will be a major shift in how we do things, and we're going to move forward because we are still here, we're still standing, and we're still strong. So elect me as your Harrison Township trustee if you want that change.
Let's go back to May. We were hit by a tornado, 3 of them at one time. But guess what Trotwood did? Neighbors were out. That night, there were 80 flashlights on my street. When no one could get to us, we pitched in together. One thing about Trotwood is that we already knew what we were before the tornado hit. But now everybody knows who we are. They came in droves to help us. Over 2,000 to 5,000 volunteers came in to help us. But what we've got to do is take that torch, because they know we're good now. We've got to run with that torch they handed us and not stop. There are 7 people on our council. When we work collectively, we're dangerous. I've hashtagged Trotwood. I call you all tenacious Trotwood. We are tenacious. We're coming back. We're at the ground level now, but just watch us. We're going to improve. As your mayor, 3 things I live by. Transparency. You have to hold me accountable. Number 2 is communication. I plan on not only letting you input, but letting you know what's going on, so you don't have to hear from somebody else. Communication. And most of all is integrity. You gotta take care of the financial resources of the city and be accountable with that. As your mayor, turn the page. Your next chapter for Trotwood.
Thank you all so much. What I'm asking on November 5th is the opportunity to continue the great work that myself and my team has already been doing. As I shared 5 years ago when we took over the city, we had $475,000 in unencumbered reserves. We were on our way to total bankruptcy. We're now looking upwards towards $3 million, which is not a whole lot of money, but it says a lot about what we've been able to do. In fact, we've paved roads, we've brought in businesses, we've done any number of things that have moved Trotwood on its way to a positive outcome. It is necessary to have a mayor that has a vision for everyone, not just the political party that they're a part of, not just their own vested interest of what happened to them at their home. It has to do with everyone in the city of Trotwood, 24,500 people. And that takes a huge vision and a huge responsibility. So small visions that have very little to do with anything other than their own personal interest will not serve the city of Trotwood any longer. We've had that, and that day is over. We have a city now that is extremely proud because everyone, be it Democrat, Republican, Independent, all of them have a place in the city of Trotwood. I speak with each and every party out here simply because ultimately those are the individuals that I represent, and I will continue to represent them without any partisan influence in what it is that I do. I don't need that. I stand strong in being the leader that I am, and that is what has moved Trotwood forward, and you can continue to see great things to come. I ask for your vote November 5th. Thank you so much.
All right, I'll say this. Something that I've tried to do in all my years on the commission, and I'm going to continue to do, is to focus on making the city a better city for my kids and my grandkids. I think that kind of focus on the future is what my colleagues and I have always tried to keep in mind when we're making tough decisions. Is this going to benefit us tomorrow and hurt us next week or next year or in 5 years? We wouldn't do it then. So we try to focus on 10 and 20 and 30 years out. So with that in mind, my priorities have been making sure we have jobs, whether it's attracting new jobs, encouraging entrepreneurs, or encouraging current businesses to expand. We really want to do that and do all of those. Second, we need to try to combat the inequality that's hobbled us. Institutional racism is not going to disappear overnight. It's not going to disappear. It's just something we're going to have to keep working at. We got to keep chipping away, whether that's making sure that we give preference to minority-owned businesses, local businesses. Almost everywhere, we make sure our contractors and our employees are paid fair wages. We need to keep chipping away at that institutional racism. It's not going to disappear by itself. Finally, we need to continue to deliver quality services to our citizens. I'm working on a program right now to try to build a better quality of rental properties, make sure that we have landlords who actually take care of their properties and know how to take care of their properties and are equipped it. There's the stick of housing inspection, that sort of thing. That's one tool. I think working together, we can try to publicize the landlords who are doing it right, give them the tools they need, and maybe we'll get a better quality of housing. Thank you very much.
Yes, I'm asking for your vote on November 5th because I'm going to continue the work that we've been doing over the last 4 years. We've done a great job, I think. We've got a lot more to do, and we're looking forward to the opportunity to continue to do that work. It's about bringing jobs to this community, and that's how we'll turn the corner on this. Good paying jobs, high paying jobs, high skilled jobs, and it's about making the connectivity with people to get the training to be able to accept those jobs. We've got upward of 18,000 jobs that are going unfilled around this community, and folks need to be prepared to take advantage of them. That's how we'll attract other opportunities our way, other businesses, manufacturers, high-paying jobs. And when you get those jobs into our community, that's how we make a difference with blight removal and all the other negative kinds of things, the disinvestment that's happened in many of our communities over the years. And I'm excited about the future. I'm positive about the future. Things are looking up, and we need to talk about that because positivity attracts positivity, and negativity does the same, very same thing. So I want to be there to continue the work that we've been doing, connecting with jobs, connecting with labor, workforce, and apprenticeship, all of the things that we've been working on to make this community great. Everyone up here believes the same thing. We all want a better day, and I want to be there to see it through, and that's why I'm asking for your vote on November 5th.
Thank you. I'm glad, Commissioner Joseph, you are now adopting another one of our plans and recommendations, the rental registration program. Again, that was a recommendation from Neighborhoods Over Politics, and I also pitched that thought to the city of Dayton when I was an employee. So real quick question, who is that right there? Commissioner Bootsy Neal, right? Do you all realize we have not had an African-American woman serve as a commissioner in the city of Dayton for over 10 years? Over 10 years. And actually, Commissioner Joseph, the incumbent that ran against an incumbent at the time, was Commissioner Bootsy Neal. It is high time that we elect someone in office that is a reflection of this community. We are more deserving to have another African-American woman to serve as the next commissioner. Someone who knows and understands the pulse of this community. It is just not the title. You have to have the passion and the calling. And it is my true belief that this is my calling. Every time I drive up and down Salem Avenue, Gettysburg, when I go through my old neighborhood of Residence Park, I am sickened by the lack of investment, the blight, the grief, and the hurt that I see on residents' face of hopelessness. And we have to change that. They've done their due diligence in terms of serving this community, and we thank them. But it's now the time for them to pass the torch. And for them to elect people, for the city of Dayton residents to elect someone in office who has their best interests. I'm asking that each and every one of you be intentional this November. Check out my resume. I have the experience. I know the inner workings of government. I live in Southern Dayton Triangle. I believe in this community, and I need your help in this fight. They're going to say a lot of negative things. They're going to outspend us for resources. But together, we can make some changes in the city of Dayton. Thank you.
I'm going to vote for Shanice, and I think you should too. So, just to straighten out some things, it is not a ceremonial position to be on the mayor or the city commission. It's to be a board of directors to direct a city manager who's supposed to run the city. We haven't had that. We've got a mayor who thinks she's holding court. If you need to see an example, you can watch the video I just released of her having a work session last Wednesday where nothing was done, no work was accomplished. She just took a whole bunch of high-paid city people and made her sit in a room with her because she wants to feel special. So, every time you hear the word economic development, know that for these people, economic development means taking your tax dollars and giving them to the rich people. That's economic development. That's their definition. No, it's a simple code word for we're going to screw you, take your money, and give it to companies. General Motors wanted to build a plant, right? And they said, oh, we got to support General Motors. What happened the next day practically? They went to Brookville, and the employees all struck. These are the candidates of labor, and they wanted to give a tax break to General Motors, who paid their CEO $21 million and has record profits. That's their idea of economic development, and it's wrong, and it has to stop. I want to tell you how the city treats a small business like mine. There's a little corner grocery store in my neighborhood. They wanted to expand. You know what they told them? Oh, you can't expand until you expand your bathroom to be a handicapped accessible bathroom, and it's going to cost you $10,000. It's a family-owned business. They don't have to have a public bathroom. They made them spend the money on that. They hassled me when I took a corner grocery store that I bought for $2,200 and I wanted to fix it up. This is not how you do it. November 5th, Shanice and me, thank you.
Let's hear from all the candidates. I like it when our communities can have civil discourse and not fight. Several ideas that I want to leave you with. We have been, and it started at our convention last week, advocating for automatic or automated voter registration, AVR. And if this passes, we're not sure if the legislation is what we want, but in concept, NAACP has supported AVR since probably 5 years ago. And that would mean when you go to renew your driver's license, automatically that information goes to the Board of Election and your residence will be changed. That's what we want to advocate for. We want you to be advocates for it because it will really reduce the purging. Because if you think about it, you automatically will be doing something, therefore the purging will be taking place. So more of that will be coming. About 5 years ago, NAACP had embarked upon environmental climate injustice. And I'll say that to the elected officials and soon to be elected officials, hear more about that because environmental racism is bold and bad in this nation. And for those of you who lived in Jefferson and had to live a perma fix, you know what that odor's like. For those of you who live in Dayton and you have to smell on a good day what that garbage smells like, that's environmental racism. And it's only in our communities. And so you're going to hear more and more about that from NAACP. But I think as the president pointed out, Edgemont and other areas, I think East Day is involved in solar panels, solar energy. And so those are issues that we are embarking on as a unit, as a state, so look for more of that. The final thing is to remind you of the forum on Wednesday that Mayor Dixon talked about. You have young people 18 to 35. We want to hear from them. And we have moderators who will be taking notes. And part of what we want to hear, I know baby boomers like myself and beyond have had our voices heard by the various churches. We want to make sure we hear from the young people. So if you have an 18 to 35-year-old who wants his or her voice to be heard by the community, have them come to the arena on this Wednesday, thank you, from 5:30 doors open, it begins at 6 o'clock. Now, I don't know if you recognize these wonderful, beautiful, handsome people over here, but you should know them. Your county recorder, Brandon McLean, Municipal Court Judge, Deidre Logan, City Commissioner Jeff Mills, and State Representative Fred Strader. They have been assisting me this evening by collecting information from your questions and sharing them with me so we could condense the questions. And Neighborhood Politics is doing Rock the Vote. Is this week? This Saturday at St. Clair. It's probably the second or third year. Yeah, and it's really on third year, third year, Rock the Vote at St. Clair, Saturday beginning at 12:30. And it's really a good opportunity here again, I guess, from the candidates and some good music they've been doing for a number of years. Then let's let the president, you want to recognize the elected officials that are here? Okay, oh, you want to do that when you do that? Okay, Vice Mayor, Trotwood Vice Mayor. Got the council persons here, councilwoman. Any other elected officials? Okay. The elected official, and candidate. Okay. Okay. And so you have me into my final point. Next, former Mayor Joyce Sutton Cameron. You led me into my final point. We divided up the city council, mayor's race, and the school board candidates are next month. We're going to do a special conversation with school board candidates. NAACP locally and statewide have taken strong positions against academic distress commissions, state takeover of our schools. We want to hear from candidates running for the school board. You know, they make decisions on the quality of education that takes place in our schools. We want to make sure we have a conversation with them because we've just kind of voted for school board members without really knowing where they're coming from. So we're going to have some conversation about that, as well as a conversation with them next month. Mr. President, I think I've done my, listen, once again, thank all the candidates for the great work. President gets the last word.
Whatever, just trying to get right on what they see. I also recognize former Judge Francis McGee. Jefferson Township School Board Member, Stevie Becker. And former Vice Mayor of New High School, Dayton. So you already heard next month, so I was giving some marching orders to all the candidates. This form right here, I believe somebody from the Freedom Company put this on the table. So they asked me to make certain that I mentioned to you all to try to get it in. The ads were actually due last week, but he was able to get a 1-week extension to take us through this coming Friday. So, if you're able and you want to put an ad inside the book in front of those 1,200 people, in front of those 200 people, to try to garner some additional support. We would love to have you to do so. The candidates meeting, like I started to say, is actually going to be on October 28th. Education for school board. So if you're a school board member, you should expect to get in the mail some information from our political action chair. And it's going to take place, I think it's going to be a different type of a forum for our school board members, but it will happen in this room on Monday, October 28th. And so with that, and anybody else, I just want to say one other item here. Well, I guess that's it. So, have a good evening. I remember what I wanted to say. So I just remember what I want to say. Let's give it up for our second VP, Little Name Chair, for putting together this forum. All right. That's what I want to say. All right, take care.
Doors open at 5:30. It starts at 6.
Take care of you.
Yeah, I met you a long time ago.
Yes, sir. Still working hard. Ain't going nowhere.